Here, look, I think we need a debate in this House with An Taoiseach that could give us clarity on his stance and the stance of his government on what national conversations or debates are allowed to be held in this country. Last week, the Taoiseach took aim at anti-NATO protesters who demonstrated at the government's consultative forum on international security policy in Cork on Thursday, saying that he had learned about the freedom of speech and democracy in the very university they were occupying, and stated firmly that the most undemocratic thing you can do is to try and shut down debate, which he said the protest...
He wasn't in Cork last Thursday, just to clarify.
Yes, Thursday morning.
The Taoiseach wasn't in Cork.
It
was the Taoiseach.
The Taoiseach. I beg your pardon. Oh, I'm sorry. I elevated Micheál Martin to a position that I should have.
Just for the interest of accuracy.
Sorry, it is the Taoiseach. I beg your pardon.
Just for the interest of accuracy, not giving out false information.
Sorry. Oh, that is false. Well, then it is on Taoiseach than Micheál Martin. To which he said the protesters were attempting to do. You are behaving in a manner that is intolerant of freedom of speech. You don't want to allow other views to come forward. What you're saying is debate is on your terms and nobody else's terms. And yet, the Taoiseach is on record stating unequivocally...
Just to give context, and I hate interrupting you because in fairness you are entitled, but you should understand that the Taoiseach at that event was being interrupted by people as he was speaking. But you should just give fair context, give balance as well, please.
I did state that.
Okay, well, just to clarify, I don't think you did, but that's okay. I stand corrected. But and I'm not trying to put you off speaking, but I'm just making the point that we should be fair in our summation of the event that took place last Thursday in Cork.
Yes, I did say it was in Cork, and yes, I did make a mistake. I should have stated it was the Taoiseach.
As he was speaking, he was being interrupted. You should be fair in that as well. But the floor is yours.
And yet the Taoiseach is on record stating unequivocally that we certainly don't need that type of debate in Ireland. We don't need to have that type of debate in Ireland in relation to how gender-critical women found their voices in the UK and began to speak out against the erosion of their rights, identities and spaces as a result of the changes brought about by radical trans activists. Additionally, the pronouncement that the most undemocratic thing you can do is to try and shut down debate is made by at the same time as the government is being expected to make no amendments to what I think must be the most criticised bill in years, which will most certainly have the effect of shutting down debate and eroding freedom of expression in this country. So why is it that Micheál Martin gets to decide what debates are had and which ones must be centrally and artificially suppressed? Perhaps he can come before the House and explain why this is the case. Thank you very much.
Senator Keogan, you said you wanted a debate with the Taoiseach. I'm not sure whether you wanted a debate with the Taoiseach or with the Taoiseach, because
I did correct the record. I did correct the record.
So is the debate with the Taoiseach that you're looking for? Okay. I'm certainly not going to accede to a debate with the Taoiseach in relation to what is allowed or not allowed, because absolutely the freedom to protest and free speech is very important to all of us in Leinster House, and it's absolutely a constitutional right. The issue that arose in Cork was that the Taoiseach was interrupted while he was speaking. And I think the point that he was making was that there is a place, and there always should be a place, for an alternative point of view, but you do it in an orderly fashion. You don't do it by heckling and by interrupting someone that is speaking. You also mentioned that he spoke about he didn't want a debate in relation to trans issues. That actually wasn't what he said. I remember I was actually there when he spoke about it, and it was during Pride last year. What he actually said was he didn't want to see the conversation or debate turning as toxic as it is in England about this debate, that we should be able to do it in a mannerly and respectful format. And I totally agree with him. At the time, it was extremely toxic in the United Kingdom, and unfortunately, it has gone into a somewhat toxic debate here. That's not what we want. We want to respect people's views, people's opinions, but to do it in a mannerly and respectful fashion to people on both sides of the debate. In relation to the hate speech bill that you're talking about, a number of amendments have already been made to that government bill, and I know that since it came into the Seanad a few weeks ago, that a number of amendments are being prepared. I know that my own party, for example, are preparing amendments, and we're looking for a meeting with the Minister for Justice because we have some concerns in relation to it. So I would expect that the fact that you're not happy with some of the content, that you will be putting in amendments yourself. Thank you, Senator. And that's